Hello everyone, welcome to the channel or welcome back. Today we're going to be once again talking about Naruto when he was a child, aka part 1. Now in the last video we discussed both the Land of the Waves arc and the tuning exams, and pretty much we discussed how Naruto is really starting to come to his own, especially by the end of the Land of Waves already. And more importantly, he learned in the Land of Waves about what being a shinobi actually means and how much is actually sacrificed slash lost during those times. As far as the tuning exams go, I think it was very much testing his willpower and testing his belief system. While the Land of Waves showed him what the shinobi world was, the tuning exams challenged him on his new thoughts on how to navigate said shinobi world. So now we're going to look at the Tsunade arc and the Sasuke retrieval arc. Now, one thing I do want to discuss from the tuning exams that I didn't really get the chance to was what happened to Hiruzen. So Hiruzen, being the third Hokage, actually is assassinated pretty much by Orochimaru. So how does that affect Naruto? Well, I think that him making that sacrifice for the village really amps up what Naruto meant when he was going back and forth with Neji. While Neji was talking about how people are destined to become Hokage and how no one can really do it if they really wanted to, Naruto kind of points out that anybody can do it, and the sacrifice that Hiruzen made is not something that anyone can do. You have to work hard to become the type of individual that would make that sacrifice. So now that the Hokage is gone, we need a new one. And they try to appoint Jiraiya, but he's not really going for it. So he's actually going to go look for Tsunade, who was a previous student alongside him, who learned under Hiruzen, and Jiraiya decides to invite Naruto. We do get some details here on Naruto's character and of the Rasengan, and that we're going to start learning it. But before we get to that, there's the scene where Naruto's confronted by Itachi and Kisame. And although it doesn't really add much to Naruto, it does display, the fact that people are after him. The fact that he is the Nine Tails. The fact that the Akatsuki are coming from him. And this is pretty much the first real example of the Akatsuki that we get. Now, I do believe that at this point, Jiraiya was just fucking around. So I wonder what Itachi's plan was going to be if Jiraiya just, stayed drinking and didn't show up. How was Itachi going to not capture Naruto here? Just interesting to think about. Naruto does learn pretty much that Itachi is Sasuke's brother here as he witnesses Sasuke get his cheeks absolutely clapped and embarrassed. So there's that. It doesn't really do much for Naruto, but I guess it does put a bigger context and he gets to actually visualize what Sasuke's going after. Anyways, after this point, Naruto is saved by Jiraiya, thank God, or else he'd be history. So then the training for the Rasengan begins. But before that, he does meet Tsunade, and basically, the dynamic between he and Tsunade is Tsunade had a little brother who reminds her a lot of Naruto. You're going to see a lot of the, other Narutos in this show. In fact, we already kind of have, in the Land of Waves, the kid is kind of a parallel to Naruto. Gaara is basically Naruto if no one cared for him. And now you have that kid in Tsunade's past, her little brother that was also Naruto. And while all of this is going on, Jiraiya also reminds Naruto of his past because it reminds him of Minato, the fourth Hokage. There's a lot of comparisons between Minato and Naruto made, and it's really obvious that the fourth Hokage is his dad by this point. But when we get to the three-way deadlock, when Orochimaru comes back for the smoke because he wants Tsunade to cure him of what Hiruzen did, basically Hiruzen just made it so that he can't use jutsu. And now it's a three-way, and between him, Tsunade, and Jiraiya. And Naruto doesn't have the biggest role, but he has one of the most impressive roles. And that is using the Rasengan for the first time. So Naruto works really hard at learning the Rasengan. In fact, I think it's by far the hardest we see Naruto work. The only time that's really comparable is when he tries to get Sage Mode later in the series. So this was easily the hardest that Naruto worked to obtain something, and it's really impressive. I do like the entire training for the Rasengan itself. But we fast forward, and Kabuto's giving Tsunade and Shizune the business, okay? Kabuto, I didn't think he moved like that prior to this arc, but apparently he does. He did go crazy, and Naruto blasts Kabuto with the Rasengan in one of the most, awesome main character moments. Granted, I feel like people forget that it doesn't take Kabuto out. It just like damages him. It doesn't really defeat Kabuto. He does get up to help Orochimaru summon Manda. So maybe people remember it a little cooler. I don't know why. Until I rewatched the series, I thought that he was out. Like, he was out cold. I didn't remember that he got up after the Rasengan. But yeah, Naruto convinces Tsunade to take up the mantle of Hokage, and everything's right in the world. Orochimaru and Kabuto are sent packing. We don't defeat Orochimaru and Kabuto for good, but it is what it is. So back at the Leaf Village, Sasuke finally wakes up. And, he's looking for smoke because he just got his ass whooped. And he's like, hell nah, I'm tired of seeing Naruto get dubs while I'm getting my shit kicked in. So he wants to smoke with Naruto at the rooftop. And this is an underrated fight in my opinion. I thought it was really good. And I guess for as far as comparisons go between Naruto and Sasuke, yeah. Naruto's easily been ahead of Sasuke this entire time. If you look at other, rival characters in anime, they're typically the ones that are ahead, but not here. Naruto was ahead of him in the Land of Waves as he's defeated Haku while Sasuke could not, and he was ahead of him against Gaara. And yeah, the only time Sasuke really stood ahead of him for a meaningful portion or as a meaningful moment was when he returned to fight Gaara in the black outfit. So the crash out is definitely justified, and as far as Naruto goes, Naruto doesn't exactly help the situation here. Naruto is a rival to Sasuke. He, in a way, wants to beat Sasuke. It's not like he hates him or anything like that, but his desire to fight him does take over, and I think Naruto put some blame in himself for Sasuke leaving because Naruto wasn't exactly a peace-seeking individual when it came to this moment here. Naruto was like, you want to throw hands, let's throw hands. Because I imagine he didn't think Sasuke was going to go through the lengths of leaving the fucking village to make a point. But, yeah, Naruto just, let's throw hands, and he did it. I think had Naruto known the reality of what Sasuke would do, he would have allowed Sasuke to win at the rooftop. And I think that would have changed everything. I don't think that Naruto was so prideful that he wouldn't allow that to happen if it meant protecting someone he considered his best friend. But he didn't realize the severity of it. He didn't realize that he, Kakashi, nor Sakura could stop this man from walking away. But yeah, Sasuke does indeed walk away, and now we have the arc to retrieve Sasuke. And the setup for this arc is kind of funny. Apparently, there's no ninja available at the time. Everyone's busy doing something, and so we have to send the fucking Genin. There wasn't even a tuning to accompany these guys? Yikes. So, alright. The group of Genin go out to face possibly Orochimaru, okay? Because Orochimaru, what if he and Kabuto were, gonna meet Sasuke halfway? This mission is kind of insane. I don't know how this was approved, but Tsunade approves it, and yeah. Granted, they were gonna go regardless, but I don't know. I feel like we should try to capture these little motherfuckers. I ain't let him out there. For Sasuke, fuck that. He can go. As far as Naruto, Naruto at the start of this arc pretty much just fights Kimimaro and gets his ass handed to him. Which is kind of funny. Naruto doesn't take L's often, but Kimimaro was not about to let this man pass. Kimimaro is basically the ultimate Orochimaru Blazer. He was doing anything in his power to make sure Sasuke got to the other side, and Naruto tries. He gives a good performance to try to get through. It's not working. He's not even budging. He's then helped by Lee and later Gaara. Naruto is allowed to go chase Sasuke, so not much to talk about here with Kimimaro. Now, an interesting thought before we move on is the battle against the other Sound 4 members, how Naruto would have performed. Naruto was kind of part of the upper echelon of the Konoha 11 by this point, and I do think that Naruto would have ended up defeating all of them had he been put in a one-on-one scenario. I mean, Neji is arguably the strongest of the Konoha 11, and Naruto beat him. So, yeah, I think he would have got past these guys. Not easily, in fact. I'm not even sure if he would have been able to fight Sasuke after fighting one of the Sound 4 members, but yeah, it would have been a cool what if to see Naruto fight some of these guys. But regardless, we get to Naruto reaching the final valley. This area is going to be really important. Naruto and Sasuke, one of them represents Hashirama, and the other one represents Madara. We later find out in a literal sense that I'm not too much of a fan of, but we'll save that conversation for part 2. But of course, Sasuke being Madara, the man who basically deserted his village in seek of power and seek of a better world and seek of a world that benefits him better, and Naruto, who represents Hashirama, who extends his hand to this Uchiha, hoping that he would come back and remain in the village as Naruto wants to become a leader like Hashirama once was. These two get the scrapping, and it is an incredible fight. I think this is easily on the top 5 fights in all of Naruto, maybe even top 3. Some people put it as their number 1. I don't think it's that good, but I would be really hard for me not to see this in the top 5. And look, this fight makes it abundantly clear that Sasuke has made up his mind. There's nothing Naruto can say or do here that's gonna allow Sasuke to come back. None of these awesome choreography moments, and by the way, this panel here, which is one of the greatest Naruto panels of all time, that ain't gonna change Sasuke's mind either. Now, there is one extremely important theme in this fight, and it will be talked about later in Shippuden. It's that Naruto fights Sasuke differently than he's fought everyone up to this point. You see, Naruto has beaten his opponents when he's tried to understand the opponent, when he finally gets where they're coming from. Case in point, Gaara was a huge one. And notice how the arc where Naruto is kind of blinded by his own desires is the only arc where he takes 2 L's back to back, being Kimimaro and Sasuke. Because Naruto's not fighting like he should be fighting. And Naruto kind of handles this whole thing with Sasuke wrong, I believe. And Naruto even takes accountability in Shippuden. A lot of people want to blame like Kakashi for not being able to stop Sasuke or anything like that. But I think that Naruto is actually one of those people that is to blame as well. Now, don't get me wrong, the blame is obviously on Sasuke for leaving, right? But maybe there could have been countermeasures to make sure that he did not. And one of those things was Naruto refusing to understand Sasuke. Yes, he viewed him as his closest friend, but he really didn't know him that way. And maybe that's done on purpose. I guess we'll talk about it in the Shippuden portion, but there's a huge debate in the community on whether Sasuke was worth trying to bring back or not, and I'm kind of on the fence on it. I don't know if Naruto's a bit obsessive in Shippuden, or I think that if you really look at it, the reason why Naruto wants to bring Sasuke back so hard is not only because they were friends, because let's be honest, they weren't that close of friends. Naruto had plenty of friends. I would argue that Shikamaru was a bigger friend than Sasuke ever was. But I personally think it's because it is Naruto's single greatest failure, and he could not become Hokage. He cannot become the man he wanted to be until that failure was cleansed, until he made up for failing his friend Sasuke. I don't know that had he done everything he could and Sasuke was just heartless at that point, I don't think that Naruto would have tried so hard to bring him back. I think the reason he tries so hard to bring him back in Shippuden is because he knows that there's something he could have done to change Sasuke's mind, that there was good in him, and all he needed was the right words to allow him to come back. Now, would it have worked? I'm not sure. I don't know what Naruto could have said or done to allow Sasuke to come back, to change his mind, but nevertheless, Naruto refuses to try to understand Sasuke, and he gets the L for it. And man, I have to give part 1 credit. Shows don't end like this, man. The show ended with Naruto losing, Sasuke standing over him and leaving the village. And I guess I'll talk about it more with the Sasuke video and how like wild of a decision this is for a character. But yeah, Sasuke gets the dub here, and Naruto's lying on his back. This shit hurts. This shit hurts bad because I love Sasuke as a character. I like Naruto. And, you know, seeing them go against each other like this and Sasuke leaving was just wild at the time. And it also hurts because there's one thing I skimmed over at the beginning of the arc, and it was the promise to Sakura that he would bring him back. Naruto never goes back on his word. That's his ninja way. But this time, it didn't matter how much he wanted it. He lost. And he had to live with that. He had to go back to Sakura and tell her basically face to face, I couldn't bring him back. It was an accepting moment, and I think it changed Naruto. And one of the things I don't like in Shippuden is Naruto still having a crush on Sakura. I just think it's there for the sake of like comedy that isn't funny, because Naruto should have been past those emotions for Sakura right here, this arc. I think that Shippuden should have focused a lot more on Naruto and Hinata, but we'll wait for the Shippuden discussion for that. But as far as this arc goes, this should have been when Naruto forfeit all those emotions. It was clear as day how much Sakura loved Sasuke, and the fact that he promised everything that he could bring him back is wild, and he fails to do that, man, and it sucks. So Naruto goes off with Jiraiya for a year and a half, 2 years. I forget what the time frame was. It was something like that. But yeah, Naruto gets to explore with Jiraiya. Now, again, another point for the Shippuden discussion, but I wish we could see more of that. I believe filler goes into it. I don't remember now. I haven't watched filler in ages, but it would have been nice to see more of Naruto and Jiraiya interacting in those 2 years. Now, how do I feel about Naruto as a whole? I think he's awesome. I think he's funny. I think he's charismatic. I think he has a lot of charm to him. He's likable. He's relatable. He's hardworking. And he's just cool. The Rasengan is an awesome technique. The Nine Tails form looks just sick. And Naruto's shenanigans, everything he pulls, the way he fights, that scrappiness in him, it's just so relatable, so cool, and he's an easy character to root for. I think Part 1 Naruto as a kid is just, he's just awesome. And I would give him a 9 out of 10, almost a 10 out of 10. But a 9 out of 10 in terms of a character in Part 1. Now I'm going to say a spoiler here, that does change with Shippuden. For better or worse, you guys are going to have to wait. Anyways, y'all, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of rambly type of discussion video on Naruto characters. I hope to do them with the entire cast if you guys want me to. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share the video with your friends and shit so we can get this video, we can get this channel to grow even more. And thank you guys so much for getting me past 500 subscribers. I appreciate y'all. And I'm out. Bye.